Coming up on this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society, we can tell you the time and the temperature, but we don't really know how. The old man who remains has magic, so the Nintendo Cartridge Society has magic with you. Welcome to Nintendo Cartridge Society. My name is Patrick Ellers, and I am joined, as I'm always joined, by my co-host, Mark Mitchell. We've got a great show for you today. We're going to be talking about the news from the week, and oh, what a week of news it has been.
Yeah, so much news.
And then on Thursday, we are ranking the canonical doubles partners in Mario Tennis 64. Mark is already laughing silently from the other side of the table.
Yes. It's more exciting than it sounds.
This is one that we've recorded already. We had a great fun time, so I look forward to that being out there in the wild. In the meantime, Mark, how's it going?
It's going great. I mean, normally, this is where I would insert some sort of anecdote about like soap dispensers,
right? Or some sort of like half-prepared opinion about, or like a question.
Yeah, but I mean,
you just got nothing.
There's just so much news. I just feel like we almost shouldn't waste time.
You don't want to waste time.
That's how much news there is.
All right.
I don't want to waste time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, then go to our Patreon if you want to hear us waste time. Patreon.com/Nintendo Cartridge Society, where if you're following us at the 8 or 16 mid-levels, you can get access to our once-a-month episodes of miniseries like NCS at the movies.
Yes, where Patrick and myself, and usually a special guest, are going to movies in theaters and talking about them. Most of the time.
That's usually true, except for the episode that we put out over the weekend.
Yes, that's right. For January, we did kind of like a January smorgasbord, a potpourri.
Yeah, potpourri. That makes it sound classy.
Yeah, it's like it's a Jeopardy category.
That's right.
Where we talk about 3 movies that we saw together.
Ooh, we should do
month.
like a before, middle, and after of that, where it'd be like, no other choice. Oh, geez, I'm screwing myself right from the beginning because I can't think of a movie that starts with choice.
But we did see 3 different movies.
Yes.
No Other Choice, Primate, and The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring. And we talked about all of those, and it was a great conversation. You can find that on Patreon, along with our previous season of NCS at the Movies, 3 seasons of NCS Arcade, plus other miniseries that are available at all tiers. So go over and check
including
that out.
free.
That's right.
So go check that out if that is of interest to you. Also, if it's of interest to you, get in that Discord. We're talking about Nintendo games all the time. We're talking about what's going on in the world of Nintendo. When there's so much news, Mark, you need to have people around to talk to about it.
It's true.
Talk about it with you. Talk about with and to. There's all of this.
It's all happening in the Discord.
It's you. It's the people. It's Nintendo. It's the news. Email us, Nintendo Cartridge Society at gmail.com. We will send you an invitation. You hop in that Discord. You chat with us. All right, Mark, briefly, let's talk about what we've been playing this week. I'll just get mine out of the way because the only game that I've been playing this week is Fire Emblem Awakening, which I'm playing for the Super NPC Games Club. And if you're interested in hearing my thoughts on that, the first episode is available on the free feed, Super NPC Games Club. You can check that out over there. I'm having a blast. I'm playing it on hard mode with permadeath on, which means I have to start every fight like 6 or 7 times. Actually, not every. Like the deeper I get into the game, the more I'm like getting through. Like I just had to like grind a little bit and like level my guys up, and I think that's just something that I have to take seriously. But like the last battle I was in, I feel like I was even a little like cavalier about some choices that I made, and didn't have to start it over. So and didn't lose anyone. So feels good.
If this is at least your second time playing through this game, right?
Yeah, this will be my second time like beating it.
Did you play on permadeath the first time that you beat it?
Yes.
Played it with permadeath?
Yeah.
But not hard. Is hard mode new for you?
Hard mode is new for me, yes. But yeah, I'm always a that's just how I play Fire Emblem. I think of them as games with permadeath. I know I can turn that off, but I'm like, For me, that's how the game works.
And you can turn it off in Awakening, is that right?
Yes.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But and so far I've only let one guy die.
I mean, that's not bad.
But I did let him die.
Hey, war is hell.
War is hell. It costs bodies, and poor Rickon had to go. But Mark, what have you been playing?
Yeah, well, last week Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade was released on Switch 2, and I was really excited to pick it up. And I have only been able to play about 3 chapters before I had to turn my attention back to Resident Evil Remake. So that way we can talk about it as part of Resident Evil month starting in February. But oh my gosh,
and February is just next week.
That's why I had to turn my attention.
Sort of unbelievable.
I had to turn my attention back to Resident Evil Remake, but it was hard because, like we talked about last week, I was having a difficult time getting back into the groove of like the Resident Evil Remake, what that game wants from you and how it controls and like all that kind of stuff. And so moving to Final Fantasy VII Remake, that game is just pure fun.
Yeah.
Like I'm only in the opening hours of it, so I don't know how it changes. But like it just feels like every combat sequence is treated like an action sequence in a movie, and seeing everything rendered so beautifully and amazingly, and having like these character moments. I don't know. I'm just having. It's basically I'm just playing with like a huge smile on my face. And
so how deep into it are you? I last we spoke, I believe you had beaten the like first reactor run.
Right.
Yeah.
So I did that, and then I've done the next 2 chapters. So I've met Aerith and
yes.
I did like the combat in the streets, trying to get back to the train, getting on the train.
Right.
And I have done like the train stuff, and now so maybe I just finished the 2nd chapter, and I'm in the 3rd chapter.
So
where I'm like
you've
now,
not yet made it back to Sector 7.
I think I just landed in Sector 7.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, having so much fun. But then I turned back to Resident Evil Remake, and I feel like I really made progress there. Progress in the game. So I'm past the I'm like playing as Jill for the first part of it, and I have finished the first part of the mansion. I've done the residence, and now I'm like making progress in the like last mansion part.
Yeah. Heading into the lab and all that.
Yes.
So you're actually kind of nearing the end game.
Yes. Yeah.
Are you planning on doing a second lap through as Chris?
I am planning on it
Cool.
if I have the time. I'm going to start it at least. I don't know that I'll be able to finish before we record our conversation on it, but
my plan is to do Chris and then Jill.
Oh, fun. Okay.
So we'll have the whole game covered.
Yeah, but my experience with Resident Evil Remake has been kind of like going to watch a Shakespeare play, where when it first starts, it's just been a while since I've seen Shakespeare, and I'm like, okay, it's going to take me a little bit to get back into the rhythms of how this works, and I'm really like lock in on what people are saying. But then once you do, it's fine. And that's how I'm finding with Resident Evil Remake, where like it took me a little bit to get used to the controls, to get used to the game is so sparse in its like UI and presentation. And I had forgotten
when you're like just in the game, there is no UI, right?
Right.
Like
yes,
you have to pull up the menu in order to like.
Yeah, and there's like
anything.
if you're injured, there's like visual hints and stuff like that. But
no numbers. The game does not put numbers on the screen.
No, it's so minimal. And I had forgotten how you're just like in the mansion. And yeah, there are doors that are locked, but it's not particularly linear.
Yes.
And I had forgotten about that as well. So it took me a while to wrap my head around what the game wanted from me. But now I'm having a blast. I'm having a lot of fun with it, and I'm really excited to talk in more detail when we have that conversation. But that's what I've been playing.
Isn't it crazy how many games like really do have this thing like you're describing with Resident Evil, and like I was describing with Fire Emblem, where like the beginnings of the games are harder than the road to the end of the game, just because like you've gotten used to it, or like you've built up resources or whatever, and like you can just tackle things that were like totally alien and difficult to you. That's such a strange thing about some kinds of games, like these sort of like longer story based games, where it's just like the more you get, the more. I do remember feeling this way about Breath of the Wild too, that like the game doesn't necessarily get harder, you're like you level up, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's also interesting because it's like going back to, I mean, I know it's the remake of the first game, but going back to like to Resident Evil remake,
Right.
it makes sense where it's like watching the first Halloween movie where you're like, now I feel like I so much better understand where the series got to with like 6, you know?
Sure.
Like 5 and 6 where you're like, yeah, I can totally see how what 1 is, which is so different from what 6 is, but how you got there.
Well, and
Like why it ended
yes.
up this way.
Well, and this was my experience playing Pikmin 1 a couple years ago, where it's just like, oh, I see like the germ of a thing that could blossom into all these other different like permutations and variations of that. Like I see, you just like recognize the brilliance of the thing that makes it a franchise, right? That makes it a thing that they have to return to over and over and over again. And Resident Evil 1 is like a very good. I felt the same way when I played Metal Gear Solid last year. It's just like, oh yeah, this is it. This is like all of the building blocks for everything that comes later are already packed into this one. But Mark, we said quickly. That was quickly, right?
Yeah, relatively.
We talked about what we played pretty quickly. All right, let's close this out and get into the new releases. We're going so fast I didn't even do the transition right. But that's okay.
That's okay. No looking back. Nintendo Music. WarioWare Inc. Mega Microgames is the soundtrack of the week.
Hilariously, 303 tracks clocking in at 1 hour and 19 minutes.
Yeah, it's incredible. They have the soundtracks for every micro game, all like 5 seconds of it.
Yes.
And on the one hand, like I don't really know this soundtrack very well, and I'm guessing I'm probably not going to go through, all 1 hour of the micro game. There's obviously other tracks in there as well that are like from the story segments and stuff like that. But
yeah, which aren't really that much better. I mean, the micro game soundtracks are all very like just quick snippets of music from other games, basically, or in a lot of cases from other games. Or it's just like a 5-second clip meant to stress you out, right? But the story stuff also just has like weird little voice samples in it and stuff like that.
And it's a Game Boy Advance game, so it's not going to sound that great anyways.
Yeah, I think the Game Boy Advance probably has my least favorite Nintendo sound chip.
I think so too. And anytime they put a Game Boy Advance soundtrack on Nintendo Music, it's not a super fun listen. But I like that they are doing this, that now we have an officially released by Nintendo library of all of the micro game soundtracks in WarioWare Inc. Mega Micro Games. That's cool. That's cool to me.
It is cool. I think it's very funny that it is 1 hour and 19 minutes, which means it would fit on a like standard CD, right? Because 80 minutes was the bound. I don't think I've ever seen a CD with 303 tracks on it.
Not even like Spooky Sounds of Halloween, probably.
I think those usually cap out at like 90.
Yeah.
And because there's got to be like a long one of just like nighttime and like a wolf howling.
Sure, and like that's doors opening.
Right. Yeah.
Like groaningly.
Spooky laughter. All these kinds of things.
Yep. Okay, and then as far as games go, on Wednesday, January 28th, Dispatch is released on Switch and Switch 2. Indie sensation Dispatch.
Cool. I will be interested in checking this out at some point. It's a narrative superhero game.
Yeah, and it's supposed to be great. Also, so that's all the new releases that I wanted to call out this week, but we have our blind spots when it comes to new releases, and we're always asking people at the end of this to shout out their favorite games that they think we've overlooked. And AV in the Discord did just that, saying, quote, regarding a lack of new releases, here's a few from this and last week that I think fall within the NCS remit. Big Hops, expressive 3D platformer that takes influence from Mario Odyssey, Galaxy, and multiple Zelda games. Cassette Boy, perspective-shifting adventure that is the dead center of a Venn diagram of top-down Zelda and Fez, or Captain Toad's Treasure Tracker.
Now, wait a minute.
I know, right? And then Mio, Memories in Orbit, a gorgeous Metroidvania revealed in a 2025 Direct. And there was some discussion about this game in the Discord, some sharing of like footage and stuff.
Yeah.
It does look incredible. And AV is actually interviewing the developer of Big Hops for his own podcast, Dialogue Tree. So everyone should check that out as well.
Yes, very cool. All right, Mark. Those are the new releases. Let's close this segment out. Which brings us to a regular segment on our show. It's time for 433. In 1952, American composer John Cage wrote a piece called 433, where a performer or a group of performers didn't play their instruments for 4 minutes and 33 seconds. For the purposes of this show, our instruments are Talk About Nintendo. So, for the duration of one performance, 433, Mark and I'll talk about something not at all Nintendo related, thus fulfilling the contract of the piece. Today, we are going to be discussing farmers markets.
Yeah, that's right. In the one segment that we can't really make go any faster.
Here's the thing. Recordings of 433 should not all be 4 minutes and 33 seconds. If you are staging a performance of 433, do not set a watch. You're just supposed to wait for what you think is 4.5 minutes.
I see.
And then technically speaking, that becomes the name of the piece. However long you take.
Yes.
So, which is why I say for the next 4 minutes and 33 seconds, Mark and I'll talk about something not at all Nintendo related, thus filling the contract of the piece. We time it to a recording of 433.
See, almost 10 years doing the show, and I finally understand 433.
Well, yeah. I think you've always understood it.
But yes, farmers markets.
Yeah. Is there a farmers market that you consider like your farmers market?
No, I don't really.
You don't even have to name it if you.
No,
don't
I don't really go to. I don't really go to farmers.
Why
markets.
not?
This is a great question. I don't know why not. I will say I've been to a few, not a lot. I wouldn't say that I go to very many farmers markets, but I go to a few, and I'm always a little bit disappointed.
Well, what do you?
It's not really like magical in the way that I want it to be.
What are you looking for at a farmer's market? I'm sorry, my tone was accusatory.
Well, I know that you are a farmers market person, and so like a regular frequenter of farmers markets.
Yes.
So I think you have a very formed opinion of the farmers market experience.
The concept of farmers market. Yeah, I mean, it's you have to either like seek out specific things or just be like, I'm open to the universe, and like whatever kind of fruit that I would not buy at the grocery store, I will pick up here. Fruit or vegetables, like that's so I go to the Atwater Village Farmers Market most Sundays. Drop off my compost because the community garden has a pickup there, and then also buy eggs, great eggs from the egg guy at the Atwater Farmers Market.
See, now that's where I think I could find my angle in a farmers market. I've always wanted to be a regular somewhere.
Yeah,
where it's like you have a rapport with the like people, and I feel like a farmers market would be a good place to do that. Like the egg guy. Yeah,
the egg guy, pretty good like guy to be a regular to have that status. Have we talked about the farmers market, and I'm putting it in quotes, at the Grove?
No, I don't know that we ever have on or off this podcast.
So we've obviously never been there together.
I don't think so. Have we ever been to the Grove together?
Great question.
I don't think we ever.
I've not been to the Grove that many times. I think I've only ever seen a movie at the Grove once.
Okay.
And I think that was The Great Gatsby. Were you with?
No. I don't think we knew each other.
When Gatsby came out?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think we have ever been to the Grove together. Uh-oh. In all of our years of no, we've never talked about it. But now we're out of time.
Now we're out of time, so we'll never know. All right, Mark, we were accompanied today by the Berliner Philharmoniker. Enough screwing around. Let's get into the news.
Okay, well, yesterday Nintendo announced a.
We can settle down now.
We don't. You're right.
We're here. We don't need
deep breaths. Yeah. We don't have to speed through it anymore.
Okay.
Yesterday, Nintendo announced a Nintendo Direct for Thursday morning, January 29th, focused on the upcoming Switch 1 game Tomodachi Life: Living the Dream.
So pretty exciting that we, I mean, a Nintendo Direct, always fun, but also a little bit surprising that we're going to be getting more information about this game.
Yeah, I mean, it has been featured in Nintendo Directs previously,
2 of them.
twice, but I feel like both of those were more like teasers than anything else.
The first one for sure, but even in that, it was like it was showing you like some events that you like may encounter. But yeah, I guess in some ways it was less informative and more of like a mood piece of like,
Right.
here are me's doing goofy things on an island. Sometimes they're huge and going on dates. But like, what is that?
Right.
You know?
Well, and I think that the other part that is remarkable to me about this is, we got an overview trailer for Mario Tennis Fever, and we also got an overview trailer that we'll talk about in a little bit for Super Mario Brothers Wonder, and Meetup at Bellabel Park. But both of those, I don't expect to hear anything more about, right? Like,
Right.
I don't think we're gonna get a blowout, like a direct for Mario Tennis Fever, because we had that overview trailer. But those overview trailers were what, like, the
Yeah, like 5
Fever
minutes,
one was
maybe.
like 5-8 minutes,
Yeah.
something like that. This is a 20-minute direct for
Right.
Tomodachi
Right.
Life, which makes me think that this is a big deal for Switch.
Yeah.
Like, I think they're expecting this to be like a big game.
Yeah, I think so too. Or at least they realize they have a lot more to explain about what it is. So just to get, Mark already mentioned that it's 20 minutes long. It's starting at 6 a.m. as they do now on Thursday, the 29th. It's still, and I didn't think this was going to change or whatever, but it is notably a Switch 1 game, and they're using that like Switch iconography, not Switch 2 stuff. Which again, they said it was going to be a Switch game, but it's just interesting to get so late in the life cycle and they're still just like, it's a Switch game. So previously we knew that this was going to come out in the window of spring 2026. And does this change, or what does this do for you to like, where do you think it's going to land?
Yeah, I honestly don't know, because like in some ways February is spoken for with Fever.
With Fever, right?
And
but
then,
that's it. Really, just Fever is coming out in February.
yeah, that's true.
February, in other ways, though, kind of given over to the third parties, right? Like, that's when Resident Evil is going to come out, right at the end of the month. Dragon Quest also.
But I feel like it's unusual for Nintendo to have like two. They usually, if they're doing a game in a month, it's usually one per month, right? So it wouldn't be that crazy.
Yeah. I mean, November this year they did too.
Yeah, I feel like that's true.
It's we're in weird times, is all I'm saying.
Yeah. Also, it's been so long since they've had two platforms, kind of.
I
Back
know.
in like the 3DS and
I know.
Wii U era, you wouldn't even think twice about them releasing 2 games a month. All that is to say, like, I have no idea. If the overview trailer is tomorrow, probably within the next 6 weeks, but
not sooner than like 4 weeks, right? I feel like 4 is like the minimum from like blowout direct, because you can't even pre-order the game right now, right?
right. Well, that's part of it. One thing that I'm interested about the timing on the 29th is because we don't know right now if this game is going to be voucher eligible, like the Nintendo Switch Online game vouchers.
Right, which are only going to be available to be purchased until the day after this
Right,
direct.
the 30th.
Right.
And so the fact that they're doing this direct on the 29th, hopefully it'll be open for pre-orders and we'll have that information, because if it is voucher eligible, that changes the math for me on whether I was going to buy
Yeah, me too.
another set of vouchers or not.
Right.
Like, I probably would if this game is voucher eligible.
Yeah,
So-
I definitely will if this game is voucher eligible, partially because I would use it to buy this game and then hope that Rhythm Heaven is also going to
Right.
be included. Or I didn't pick up Donkey Kong Country Returns HD when it first came out, and we'll get to this later in the episode too. Now that they've updated it, I want it.
Right.
So-
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what comes. I didn't play I think it was on 3DS, the
Yeah,
original
yeah.
one of these games, but
Me neither.
yeah, I love how crazy it looks. And so I probably won't wake up to watch this, but
I will. I'll wake up to watch
I'm
it.
interested to check it out later. Also, with we of course we're going to be talking about it. The Super Mario Galaxy movie direct that they had over the weekend, right? The Super Mario Brothers Wonder meetup at Bellabel Park information that they released. Now they have like the overview trailer for Fever that they already got out of the way. And then we have this direct for Tomodachi Life. There are rumors that it feels like Nintendo's clearing the deck for a full Nintendo Direct. And the latest rumor from our good friend Nate the Hate is that possibly next week, first week of February, potentially, for like another Nintendo Direct presentation.
Which would be huge if we got another like a big Nintendo Direct after getting all of these like marketing beats from the beginning of the year out of the way. That means all we have is like the mysterious 2026 ahead of us, which is very exciting.
And it'd be very funny to be attempting to kick off Resident Evil week or Resident Evil month,
right?
And have to delay it for a Nintendo Direct.
Listen, we've done several theme months in February, and they're always preempted at some point by.
Yeah, it's true.
So
a Nintendo Direct.
It's fine. We will just tack a week on to the to the other end of it.
All right. Well, another Direct for us to talk about that's already happened is the Super Mario Brothers or the Super Mario Galaxy movie Direct that happened over the weekend.
Yeah, and this Direct was little more than just like, I mean, it was Nintendo Direct branded. It did the boom, ba-dum, dum, all that stuff at the beginning. Miyamoto was there, but it was really just the new trailer for the Super Mario Galaxy movie.
Yes, totally. This one is, I don't even know that I would call it a trailer. It seems more like a clip. I guess scenes were seemingly cut together, but
yeah, I mean
I guess at the end
kind of like the last one, right?
Yeah,
that like there's we spend a lot of time in one scene, and then it's just sort of like traditional trailer montage stuff afterwards.
Yeah. But this one is focused on Yoshi, and we see presumably a lot of the scene where Mario and Luigi encounter Yoshi for the first time.
Right. So I guess highlights overall from the trailer. Yoshi is there, and he sounds like Yoshi.
Yep, that's right. He's not Pete Davidson.
As far as we can tell.
As far as we know. This could be a BB-8 situation.
It could be that it's Bill Hader and Ben Schwartz mixed together. Right. We get to see Luigi in the frog suit from Super Mario Brothers 3. Good. Peach in some sort of fighting casino featuring Super Mario Brothers 2 characters like Birdo, Mauser, and Claw Grip.
Okay, is Wart going to show up in this movie?
If Wart shows up in this movie, I may have to change my tune.
Yeah, we might have to automatically like it.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We might have to. Exciting to see Birdo, right?
Yeah, for sure.
It's harder to care about Mauser and Claw Grip. But
yeah, but any Super Mario Brothers 2 recognition is pretty exciting.
Yeah, I mean, it's just because you think Wart might be there.
I think because it's possible Wart will be there, yeah.
Also in this casino thing, it looks like the inside of a planet in Mario Galaxy where like the floors are like curved.
Oh,
like if you were inside a cube in Mario Galaxy and the gravity was all, outside the cube.
Yeah.
It looks like that. So, possibly that we're just seeing some like crazy casino planet.
Yeah, this definitely a mix of Odyssey, a lot of like touch points for Odyssey,
totally,
right? They start in the Sand Kingdom.
Yep.
There's that T-Rex that was, prominently featured in Odyssey, and then of course all the Galaxy touch points as well.
Let's see. We do see a clip with Baby Mario and Baby Luigi being held by Toad. So we got babies here.
Yeah.
The last game had like a flashback to them as babies, or the last movie had.
I think so. When like Mario's explaining his relationship to Luigi and all that stuff.
Right.
I think so.
And there's like a totally normal looking kid next to the Baby Mario and Baby Luigi. Very strange.
Very funny.
Thing. Yoshi has like a gun of some kind.
All right, now we're talking.
Yoshi's got a gun that looks like the Switch, like the original Joy-Con red and blue colors on a Super Scope, basically. And there was a Yoshi game that used the Super Scope, the
Yeah.
Yoshi Safari. And then, of course, you mentioned Odyssey's T-Rex. That is very clearly the T-Rex from the Wooded Kingdom or whatever it's called in Super Mario Odyssey.
Yeah. So yeah, Miyamoto gives a little opening. They show the trailer, and then Chris Meledandri is brought on to be like, animation's complete. We're on to the music part.
No kidding. The movie comes out in April.
Yeah, well, okay, that's the other thing. After the trailer or the direct finished, they announced that the release date is moving up by 2 days. So originally it was April 3rd, and that has moved to April 1st.
So does that mean it comes out on Wednesday?
I think so.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you think they did that just for us?
You know what?
So we could put out an episode on Thursday?
I do. I do think they did it just for us.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so funny to okay, I guess we gotta check in with Chris Meledandri for some reason.
I know it feels like a contractual obligation,
right?
Because I don't need to see him.
And he's like, "We're doing the editing and making sounds and writing the music," and it's like, "What?" So you're making the movie,
right?
Okay,
what do we think that the novelty popcorn container from like AMC is going to be?
I don't know, like a Luma?
Oh, I bet it is. I bet
a
it'll light
Yoshi
up.
egg. It's a Yoshi egg.
Oh, you're right. Maybe it'll be a Yoshi egg for the popcorn bucket, and then like the Luma will be a specialty drink.
Yeah. It's like a light up ice cube.
Yes.
Light up plastic ice cube. And
yeah.
That's pretty good. I do have the novelty popcorn bucket from the first one.
I mean, it's a question block. It looks good.
It's a pretty good.
It's tin, right?
Yeah, it is. It sure is. It is too big. I have to pop 2 entire bags of popcorn to even come close to filling it.
But it must have cost you like $30. So
well, yeah,
yeah. So that's how they make you feel like it was worth it.
And I do feel like it was worth it. You and I, Mark, I think we're kind of grumpy about Super Mario Brothers movies.
Yeah, I just don't really care anymore.
I just don't really care.
Yeah.
Was this exciting to you, or were you just like, yep, that's what I expect from this sort of?
Yeah, I feel about this trailer like I did the first one, where it's like, it just feels very similar in its rhythms and like its sense of humor and stuff. So yeah, I mean, I am interested to see how the final product turns out, but I'm expecting it to be very similar to the first movie, and so I think that's really easy to take a temperature on this movie. Did you like the first one? Seemingly, this is going to be more of that.
It's been interesting to see a little bit the reaction online, because I'm seeing a lot of people being like, movie seems overstuffed. It seems like there's too much stuff in this movie. And I'm like, did you not see the first movie? Like, we start off in the real world. We go to the Mushroom Kingdom. We do Mario Kart. We see Kongs. We are like in Bowser's land. Like, there's a bunch of stuff in that first movie.
Yeah, if anything, I feel like the marketing for this is more restrained in that I'm assuming that there are, we haven't seen Kongs if they are in this movie, right? Like, they haven't announced any of those returning actors. So I have a sense that there are going to be more surprises like that, but they're choosing not to really like focus the marketing on it. I think it's interesting how little Rosalina has figured in the marketing so far.
Yeah,
but I guess maybe,
I mean, she's kind of featured in that in the first trailer.
But that's what I mean, and so that's where I was going to correct myself, because it's like, yes, this trailer was Rosalina focused. This one is Yoshi focused, and then I assume that we'll get like a more like another trailer that I don't know, shows more. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I think it's also just that like we are probably now to the point like there will be new like bits of scenes that like appear in like TV spots or whatever. My guess is like this is probably it, right? There'll maybe be like a I don't know. I think this is it. I think we've seen the trailers.
Anything else we want to talk about that, or should we move on to the Meetup at Bellabel Park presentation?
Let's meet up at Bellabel Park.
Okay, so Super Mario Brothers Odyssey. Nope. Super Mario Brothers Wonder Nintendo Switch 2 Edition plus Meetup at Bellabel Park got a overview trailer last week. Not as a Nintendo Direct, but just like with Fever, just even though it basically could have been a segment in a Nintendo Direct.
Totally, yes.
Tons of new info. Again, we didn't really know that much about
Yeah.
this game,
We
but
kind of, I would say what we knew before is that this was like full of, obviously a performance boost, um, new content, including this multiplayer suite of stuff, and that the Koopa Kids would be featured in it in some way. I think that was really all we knew before.
right, yeah. But now we know a lot more details. So
Oh, and we also knew it was coming out in spring.
yes,
Right.
so the price is going to be $80 for the full thing, or $20 to upgrade from the Switch One version. So very similar to
Mhm.
other Nintendo Switch 2 editions.
Especially these Nintendo Switch 2 edition plus whatever little expansion pack, Starcross World, Jamboree TV, like that seems to be the pricing model for that kind of thing.
And the release date is March 26th. And backing up a little bit, where we were talking about what do we think the release date for Tomodachi Life is going to be,
Yes.
that makes me think it's going to be the first week of March. Like first or second week of March.
So first week of March is Pokopia.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying the beginning of the year here is stacked
Yeah,
with stuff.
Then I don't know. I take it all back.
But okay, but here's the thing. Both Pokemon Pokopia and this are exclusive to Nintendo Switch 2. And Tomodachi Life will obviously be playable on Switch 2, but will be a Switch 1 game. I guess it hasn't really been that long since they put out a Switch 1 game, as Metroid Prime 4 is a Switch 1
that's
game.
true.
But yeah, that will have been 3 months since the last one of those, so it kind of makes sense that they would hit beginning of March. But yeah, I mean, like that seems to me like about the time ish, right? Like right around, right, yeah, sometime mid March
Yeah. I mean,
or
I
very
guess,
late February. I don't know.
or like early February?
Early February is so soon.
Right. Right.
Like that.
Oh, you're right. That would be
Early
like
February is next week.
Yeah.
Right.
That would be kind of weird. Okay, back to Super Mario Brothers Wonder. They showed off some of the area. So there's attraction central, which is your
Which is
local
what we call the podcast.
local multiplayer plaza, which up to 4 people can play. Game share is supported.
Cool.
And then there's also Game Room Plaza for local wireless or online games. Up to 12 people can participate.
Yeah, and just they show like little snippets of each of these like multiplayer events, and it looks like sometimes they're collecting coins or falling off of platforms or trading Phanto masks around. But it's seemingly the difference between the local multiplayer and the game room, which is the online or wireless stuff, is the game room games. Everyone else appears on your screen as like that kind of ghost thing that you don't physically interact with. And in the local multiplayer, everyone is like solid. So I don't know. I assume that that's just like the way they deal with there being that many like collisionable objects.
Right.
Is to for that little trade off there.
There's also a Toad Brigade like Camp Central, which is like a training camp. So challenges in existing levels.
This seems super cool. That like you go and you talk to, and this is all in the name of like earning a Toad Brigade badge. But that it like as you play through the game, you can access levels presumably that you've played before, with just different win requirements. Get this number of coins. Kill a certain number of enemies. Don't kill any enemies. Who knows? So just a great little way to like revisit all of the areas in the game.
Track down the Koopalings. They travel to different worlds within the game, and you have to hunt them down. What I thought was interesting about this is they showed a lot of stuff, but there's still a lot of details that we don't know.
Absolutely.
Like, does that mean that there's like one of these levels in each world? That would maybe make sense with the number of Koopalings. Like,
right. Or do like the Koopalings hide in the existing worlds and you have to find like different exits or something to find? Like, it's not clear exactly how this mechanic works. But like they show, the player talking to a toad or a poplin or something. And like they say that you need to like follow the clues in order to find the Koopa Kid. And then fight them.
right.
And it's also unclear like what form these fights take. We see one of them, which is Wendigo Koopa turned into a giant Cheep, presumably from like a Wonder Seed or Wonder Flower or something. And yeah, so I the boss fights in Super Mario Brothers Wonder were kind of a low point. And I wonder if this is going to, kind of address that.
Yeah, that's interesting. I can't really remember any of them except like the final Bowser one, which I remember being really fun.
The final Bowser one is fun, yes, that is true. But the rest of them, remember, there were all of these where it's just like you were running on a conveyor belt, and there was like a machine at the end, and like you literally just had to like get there and jump on it.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, that's right. Also, Rosalina is going to become a playable character, and Aluma will be there as well. So Rosalina plays like the rest of the normal characters, which means she will transform into an elephant. And there's Aluma that flies around and doesn't take damage and can use mouse controls. So,
and they specifically call it a co-star Luma.
Right. It seems very much like the like playing as Cappy in Odyssey or something like that. Like
right.
a support character.
Right.
A way for somebody who's maybe not that interested in like the platforming part of it to still participate.
Yeah, or a way for a more experienced player to
help
someone who is
that's a good point.
Struggling a little bit without like getting in the way.
Yeah.
But yeah, like he literally flies around. He doesn't take damage. He can hurt bad guys. You can control him with a mouse if you want. The only thing is he can't be the only character. He has to be at least the second player. I think this is a really cool addition.
And is the co-star Luma like locked to playing with Rosalina?
No.
Or
he can
that is
be
cool.
any second player.
Well, another thing they're adding, kind of in that vein, is assist mode. So obviously, there are already Yoshis and Nabbit in the game who have different, they don't take damage, like that sort of thing. But with assist mode, any character becomes kind of like a character that anybody can play. They take no damage. They you can't fall, like flower propellers will lift you up if you do, which I think is an interesting addition, because again, they already had characters that kind of fit this bill, but I guess they didn't have anything that was. I think it's interesting that any character can become an assist character, and then they're really making it so like anybody can play of any skill capability because you can't take fall damage or anything like that.
Well, and be able to play as whatever character you want, I think is because like the Yoshis and Nabbit, which are sort of the easy mode characters, Yoshi and Nabbit don't take damage, right? Yoshi controls a little bit differently in that he's got his like flutter kick, so that's just like not exactly the same. And Yoshi's and Nabbit cannot use power-ups either.
Right.
So, like,
yeah, that's true.
If
it totally changed the experience.
It totally changes the experience. I would also say, I think a lot about when Sarah's brother's family was coming out for Christmas last year, and we were going to Universal Studios, and I was getting everyone power-up bands. And I was like, I'm Mario and Sarah's Toad. What do you four want? And we'll have a full set of these power-up bands. And my niece Maggie, her first question was, do they have Rosalina? And I was like, no, sorry, no Rosalina. So if she wanted to play Mario Wonder but was having a tough time, she would have to choose between like, do I want to play as Rosalina, my favorite character, or do I want to be able to get through this game more easily and be Yoshi or Nabbit? And Nabbit is nobody's favorite character. Nobody likes Nabbit.
Nobody likes Nabbit. And Yoshi's fine, but it's not the same, and it's not the same experience.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's a great point. Other cool stuff that they didn't really comment on, the existence of a Bellabel flower.
What is that?
Yes. And
Bellabel flower, what are you?
And I think also intriguingly, they just show, or could the Bellabel flower be the new plant power-up that we see Mario?
I don't think so. I think the Bellabel flower is like a reward at the end of something.
Oh, I see. But yeah, then also we see Mario in this new like plant
new plant power-up.
Totally uncommented on.
Yes, it's just there. He like grabs the flower pot, turns into some sort of Poison Ivy-esque figure, and that's it.
Yeah.
Why didn't they say like new power-up?
I know.
Because there's only like a handful of new power-ups in the game to begin with, right? Like there's the bubble flower, and
the elephant,
and maybe there's like one more I can't really think of.
I can't remember off the top of my head.
But the point is, not a lot of new powers. And now suddenly here's a plant suit.
Right, and how does it feature into the rest of the game?
Right.
Yes. Interesting. No new badges, nothing like that, or at least that they've
Right.
Commented on. Although I guess there is
The
the
Toad
like
Brigade
Toad Brigade
badge.
one.
Yeah.
I wonder if it has like a
if it has
a
like
capability,
a functionality, a power.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So my takeaway from the trailer was of these like $20 Nintendo Switch 2 upgrades.
Yes.
This feels like the one that's the most has the most substance.
I agree with that. Yes.
Like so I'm looking forward to this. I think it could be a lot of fun. I think it'll be fun to revisit Wonder with all these different things. Hopefully I have an opportunity to play some of the multiplayer stuff, but
Dude,
even without it,
I think the multiplayer stuff is genuinely going to be very, very cool. I think a lot about when we do like a video game party at like Connor or Jeremy's house, and there's just like a game that's on that people can like dip in and out of, and that Nintendo World Championships has been such a good game for that because it's short. Like people play a little bit, they put it down, and for the most part, like the games are understandable. And if it's not like people don't know how to play Ice Climber or Excite Bike or whatever, it's over in like 12 seconds and it doesn't really matter that much. And I just think that like this style of quick challenges within a easy to understand Mario platformer will be fun for the sickos like you and me who've played these games a million times, and for people who are just a little bit more like neophyte to that sort of stuff, or have played games before when they were younger. I just think it's going to be a really good, really easy drop in, drop out multiplayer kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. But they're not done because
we're not done.
There's
Mark.
3 new amiibo figure that
Yes.
will all be available on March 26th as well.
Yes. So we've got an elephant Mario. He's stuck in a pipe. Cute.
It's good.
There's a Poplin and Prince Florian.
Yeah,
good.
2
I like
new
it.
characters getting their due.
Mm-hmm. And then Captain Toad and a talking flower. I am amazed that they are making a Captain Toad amiibo, and that there has not previously been. Like I know there hasn't previously been a Captain Toad amiibo, and I've been furious about it for years. But now they're doing it.
Yeah, now they're doing it.
Here's the other, I think, big headline here. The amiibos are $24.99.
Yeah. Interesting.
Which is obviously still more than when they were like $15, $16, $17. But they're not 30.
And they're not 50.
Right. They're not 30, they're not 40, they're not 50. They're 25.
And I think they're all good looking.
I think they are all
like
good
I like
looking.
them better than the Galaxy ones.
Yeah, me too. In fact, seeing them made me go, wait a minute, why did I have these Galaxy ones pre-ordered? And I canceled my pre-order of the Galaxy amiibo.
Yeah, I think all 3 of these are good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, fun. I don't know. It was kind of a breath of fresh air with amiibo, because I feel like the last few that have been announced has just kind of been like, all right, like, okay.
Yeah. I mean, canceling my order for the two $40 Galaxy amiibo and placing my order for the 3 $25 Wonder amiibo meant that I'm saving $5, which is how I've decided to look at this.
I guess it just looks like classic amiibo. You know what I mean? Like they're not switchable. There's no. I wonder what the functionality will be. Did they?
I was
about
just
that at all.
I was just looking it up, and I did not see anything for the functionality. So maybe there is none. A little strange.
That would be really weird. I guess you could always use it in tennis aces, right?
Well,
presumably.
for
not aces, fever.
Right. Yeah, probably fever. But like, yeah, the Elephant Mario, I'm sure that counts as a Mario amiibo, and the Captain Toad, I'm sure counts as a Toad amiibo. But the Poplin?
Yeah, I don't know.
This is a new category of thing here.
Royalty amiibo, since Prince Florian is in there.
Sure.
Okay. Anything else to say about that before we move on?
No, I feel like the thing that we're about to move on to is related.
Related, yes, because this had been announced last year, but now we have a little bit more detail. The Talking Flower toy also got an overview trailer. It's releasing March 12th. and will be $35.
Right. So a little bit before the Switch 2 edition of Super Mario Brothers Wonder, and frankly, way cheaper than I was expecting.
Yeah, way cheaper. It's also smaller than I thought it was going to be. It's like Alarmo sized.
Yes.
So we
To
got
reference a product that everyone has and understands.
It's the size.
You
of
know your alarm.
It's like an alarm clock.
Picture your alarm mode. You know you have one.
Picture a talking flower sitting next to your alarmo box. In my case. Okay, so
I will say
Yeah.
they showed off this thing. It was like a 3-minute video, something like that, and I am left with more questions than answers.
yeah, I still don't really like. I understand how it functions, and yet I don't understand how it functions.
Yes.
Because so when it's just in its normal mode, seemingly, it talks about twice per hour, and which is so funny to me. And it's the details on like Best Buy and Amazon say that it could speak in a language other than the one that you programmed it as.
Is that true?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, which is funny. It has a button so that you press that can like make it talk
Right.
on demand. And then
They do say don't expect to have a conversation with it.
right.
Like I think they're really getting ahead of the fact that this is not a smart speaker.
Yeah, it's not an interactive toy. It's not like a Siri
Right.
device or anything like that.
Right.
Yeah. Then you hold the button when you need a break. So it's kind of I guess like in that way. Well, anyway, it doesn't even matter. I was going to compare it to Alarmo, but again, who cares? And then set wake up and bedtime, stays quiet at night. How are you setting time on this?
I don't know. How
Are
does
you
it know what time it
connecting
is?
it to the
How do you
internet?
tell it when you go to bed?
Is it Bluetooth connected?
Does it require an alarmo to function?
That would be hilarious.
As far as I can tell, there is but one button on this.
Right,
thing.
and it doesn't seem like they didn't talk about like an ambient light sensor or anything like that. But so again, the reason I was looking on Best Buy and Amazon was for product details to see if there was some sort of like Bluetooth connectivity or like Wi-Fi or you set it up using your Nintendo account or whatever. As far as there's none of those details. So I don't know how it knows the time. I don't know how it like does any of that.
Because it also knows the temperature and will comment on like it's a little chilly in here.
Right. I don't know.
What is going on?
I don't know.
What is this thing?
Yeah, I don't know. And on let me see if I can find the where I wanted to point it out where it's like in the detail it talks about like your talking flower will also announce the hour parentheses mostly accurately.
So sometimes it will tell you that it's 9:00, but it's really 8.
Why?
I don't know. Why will it speak German sometimes? We don't know.
But at least like it could be giving you factual information in German.
No, here's the thing. This is a $35 product. It is not meant to give you information or be an interactive toy.
But you can buy alarm clocks for like $10.
It's not an alarm clock.
I know, but I'm saying you can buy cheap products that are still. I just think this thing is so weird, and yet I don't feel compelled to buy it in the same way that I felt compelled to buy
Isn't
an
that
Alarmo.
funny? Because I'm the same way. Mark, you said that the Best Buy product description listed it as Amiibo, and I said, well, I know that's wrong because I didn't pre-order it. But yeah, I didn't pre-order this thing.
Yeah.
I don't have any plans to. $35, like, I could justify that for like a hunk of garbage.
If it was an Amiibo, yeah.
If it wasn't, yes, honestly, if it wasn't,
If it had an NFC chip in it,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, then I would have purchased it.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't think it's like bad or like garbage or anything. I just don't feel compelled to own one.
Yeah.
Even to just keep in a box. I don't know. It's interesting.
See, now when you say just to keep it in a box, I'm a little bit more convinced. Because it genuinely, I don't want to have this thing like out
Right.
or on anywhere. It would be a net detrimental thing to the
I don't
vibe
know.
of the
It
room.
talks about twice per hour. Like, that's not that bad.
Yeah,
to
but
just happen like,
it's just enough that you'll forget that it's there
and it would know when you're sleeping.
and sees you when you're awake
Yeah.
or whatever. It also it'll tell you when its batteries are low, and it's not a rechargeable creature. It is a AA batteries.
Oh, okay.
Which is also interesting.
It also has a music mode
Yeah.
where it can play like music from Super Mario Brothers Wonder.
Right, and if you push the button during that, it'll like go wow, yo, ho, you know,
just like in the game.
just like in the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, how do you make it activate music mode?
Yeah.
Does anybody know? Does that happen randomly? Do you push the button some number of times?
I do. I think there's something like charming about how like Nintendo has kind of glommed on to the talking flower.
Sure.
Like glommed on is probably not the right word, but like, it's showing up in Fever.
Right.
It is they made a toy out of it.
It's part of the Captain Toad amiibo, which of course everyone has been clamoring for.
Right. So yeah, I just think it's interesting that is something that they are like behind for whatever reason.
They're into it.
Yeah.
This is just such a strange product. And they're not they're mostly just selling it on the Nintendo.com and the Nintendo stores, right? No, I guess it's on Best Buy.
Yeah. So it has a wider launch than Alarmo did. It's also not $100, It's
right.
like 35.
But also, sorry, to that, we're not going to talk about the talking flower forever, but we are going to talk about it just like a little bit more. What do you think is happening here would this thing be priced? I'm interested in the price and how it is so cheap, especially in tariff country USA. That how is it such an inexpensive plastic bauble?
Right. That can do so many things. Yeah. I don't know. Have I talked myself into pre-ordering one of these?
I don't know.
I don't know. But yeah, March 12th. So
the one way to convince me to pre-order this is to make it an amiibo.
Or to talk about how you're going to keep it in a box. 1 year after its original release, Nintendo has an update for Donkey Kong Country Returns HD available right now.
No warning. It just here's a video and it's happening.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's not a Nintendo Switch 2 edition.
No, but it does have improvements specific to Nintendo Switch 2.
Yes.
But it also, the update has new features for everybody. Even if you don't have a Nintendo Switch 2, you're still getting new stuff, including, and this is big, Dixie Kong is a new playable character.
Huge. A new playable character.
In single player and 2-player co-op.
Yes.
Dixie Kong is a new option. Amazing.
Yeah.
After like a full year after release, we're getting Dixie Kong.
Now, I assume that she is just like the alternate partner character for Donkey Kong, and that you couldn't do 2-player of Dixie and Diddy. Or maybe you can. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. I honestly don't know. What you're saying makes sense to me, but I don't know, because it sounds like the way it works is that when you open a DK barrel, you can toggle between the two choices.
Right.
So yeah, maybe you could. Maybe if you're playing as Diddy and you get a DK barrel, then you'd be able to choose between Dixie or Donkey.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Maybe.
But anyways, yeah, that's awesome. But they're adding an entirely new character.
And honestly, this is the kind of thing, the kind of update that I would have previously deemed not possible.
Oh, totally.
Because this is an HD remake of a game from over a decade ago
that felt like a throwaway release, or like a
filler
release when it happened last year.
And is also the second time this game has been re-released, right? Because it was also on 3DS. And adding a character is such a big, substantial change that could literally change every minute of your gameplay in this game. And what compels them to do this?
Yeah, it's very cool. You know what it means is that Luigi's Mansion 2 HD could get a Gooigi update at any moment.
Oh my god. Oh my god, Mark.
Have your go bag ready.
I have your goo bag ready.
Anyways, I thought this was I was so surprised. But I think that's awesome that Dixie Kong is going to be in the game. Dixie Kong is great, so
sure.
I'm glad that she's in there. It also
I forget where she appears on our Kong ranking.
Got to be top quadrant.
We've done this twice, so.
There's also a entirely new game mode called Turbo Attack, where the level is like incredibly sped up. So you're playing at like a ridiculous speed, and if you beat a level on turbo mode, you get like a turbo badge or something like that.
Cool.
They also included Brazilian Portuguese is now a supported language, and then there's also additional gameplay and graphical improvements. I saw a video on from the GVG Good Vibes Gaming YouTube channel where they talked about like they were talking about the update, and one of the things they pointed out is that they fixed it so in co-op in the original release, 'cause I think it was based in the original release, when someone lands on like
A floating enemy,
a
yeah.
floating enemy or something, in when it was first released, if when the first player landed on it, the like platform or whatever immediately disappeared, so the second player would just die because they couldn't land on it too.
Right.
And they have fixed that now, so that way there's like a second where the platform stays in place, so both characters have an opportunity to land on it
As long
before
as
it
they
goes
are
away.
pretty carefully synchronized.
Right. Yeah, as long as they're playing like closely in tandem. Yeah.
Which for a lot of those harder levels, you have to be playing them basically perfectly anyway. So that makes sense. Mark, we ranked Dixie Kong number 7.
Oof.
When we ranked the Kongs.
I can't. Out of how many?
Out of 18, but only because it would be 22, I think. But we have all of the Jungle Beat Kongs tied for last place at 18.
Okay, so top half. Made the top half.
Yeah, makes the top half. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that's interesting. It's like, there's no way Lanky's beating her, right?
No.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
okay.
I'm also not going to reveal all of our rankings. If people want to go back and listen to it, you can. It's from October 9th of this last year. Was our re-ranking the second time that we ranked. Dixie Kong is number 7. The Jungle Beat Kongs are number 18, and where the rest are, you'll have to listen.
But rest assured, we like Dixie Kong.
We like Dixie Kong, and honestly, her inclusion in the Donkey Kong Country Returns HD may make her move up a couple spaces the next time we get around to ranking the Kongs.
Recency bias. Switch to then also there are some Switch 2 improvements specific to the Switch 2. So the game now supports local game share.
Cool.
They improved like the graphics. And it has shorter loading times on Switch 2 now.
Which is fantastic because the loading times in the Donkey Kong Country games are like the two new ones, the retro ones, are long.
And so I picked up Donkey Kong Country Returns HD when it came out last year, and I didn't really like it.
Yeah.
But I think this update is out now, and when I have time, I'd be interested to go back and check it out with Dixie in it.
Yeah, I would also be interested in doing that. And like I sort of alluded to earlier, if it looks like Tomodachi Life is going to be voucher eligible, I may buy a pair of vouchers just to get Tomodachi Life and Donkey Kong Country Returns.
I can't remember what Donkey Kong Country Returns was probably a $60.
It was, yeah,
right?
it was a full price game. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's talk about a few notable retirements. Veteran Nintendo producer Kensuke Tanabe, who was the producer of the Metroid Prime series and Paper Mario, among others, has announced his retirement. In an interview with Japanese magazine Nintendo Dream about the development of Metroid Prime 4, he revealed that, quote, "It's been 40 years since I joined Nintendo. Metroid Prime 4 will be my final title developed at Nintendo." Tanabe's first credit as director was on Super Mario Bros. 2.
I love how long they kept these guys around.
Yes.
And how much they like shaped the identity that is Nintendo.
Well, because his niche at Nintendo eventually kind of turned into overseeing games produced by outside studios, specifically like Western studios, including Shadows of the Empire, Eternal Darkness, and of course like the Metroid Prime series. He says in the interview that producer Raiza Tabata, who would become the series producer if another Prime game is made in the future, and she's worked with him since the GameCube era. So
she's got the Prime experience.
It reminds me of when Sakamoto was talking about when they were doing the interviews for Famicom Detective Club, and I forgot the name of the woman who works with him on those.
Yeah,
but she is basically in the same position where it's like if there's another Famicom Detective Club game, it seems very clear that she would be the one like to take the series forward.
Which do you think seems more likely at this point in time?
Right. I mean, honestly, at this moment when we're recording, I think we're gonna get we could get another Famicom Detective Club game. More likely that we're gonna get a Prime game.
So
yeah,
I mean, I hope for both.
For sure.
Yeah, give me another Famicom Detective Club.
And then also last week it surfaced that another Nintendo veteran, Hideki Kono, retired in July last year. Kono worked at Nintendo for over 40 years. He directed titles like Super Mario Kart, Yoshi's Island, and Mario Kart 64, was the producer of the Nintendo 3DS, and helped run Nintendo's mobile division, among a bunch of other things. So, this got me thinking, let's say the Switch 2 generation is 8-10 years long, right?
Sure.
Like the Switch generation. Is this the Nintendo generation where we see a lot of the old guard retire, right? Like,
Yeah.
Miyamoto is 72. I think he will work until he passes, or until he's not able to anymore. But like,
yeah, in some capacity,
Yeah.
right? And he's already like kind of stepped away from like game stuff as it
seemingly,
is,
right? Like when he had that interview where he's like, I played the first 30 minutes of a Mario game, and then
And I'm like, I think that's right.
right, yeah, he's focused on other stuff at this
Right.
point.
Movies and theme parks.
We talked about Sakamoto.
He finally gets to be Walt Disney,
Yeah,
which like
no, it's
you know,
true. It's
like
true.
good for him.
Yeah. We talked about Sakamoto. He's 65.
Yep.
Takashi Tezuka 64, Koji Kondo 63, Aonuma 62, just to name a few.
So I know that like 62 is not young, but it is crazy to think that like they're not that much older than like you and I.
Right.
Like
right.
these feel like and they are like and I guess it's just what I'm saying is I'm old, and I'm recognizing that and seeing it reflected in people whose art I've been taking in my entire life. But like, yeah, it's nuts that these guys have all been around for so long.
Right. Well, and just like on a practical level, you're like, how long does it take to make a mainline Zelda nowadays?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how many more can AJ Aonuma,
Right.
be responsible for?
Yes, and we do like view him as like the producerial like editorial voice behind like Zelda, but like he's not directed one in a long time. Forever?
I think he did maybe Majora's Mask or something.
Yeah.
But you're right. He hasn't. But I think my point is more just that these are people who have been at Nintendo for a very long time, who we know their names because Eiji Aonuma has been associated with Zelda forever. You know what I mean? And is the Switch 2 the generation where that may no longer be the case? Where he retires, where, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
well, and like in that case, what happens? Because like Aonuma is the face of Zelda, and he's such a good like public facing champion for the series. And when the gaming public is not properly understanding what's exciting about Tears of the Kingdom, he's like, okay, let me go out there with the controller and show people what's in this game for 15 minutes, and then we all get excited about it. Does that slide over to like another old man? Does it slide over? Does like Fujibayashi get like promoted from
I think
director
with Zelda
to,
specifically, I think it's exactly like what we're seeing with Ryza Tabata, right, with Metroid Prime 4.
Yes.
Or like when Devin Pritchard was announced to be the next president of Nintendo of America, there was that Kit and Krista podcast episode where they talked about succession at Nintendo and how it is like very planned.
Yeah,
and like
sure.
you have like named the successor for your position, and they're basically teeing up the successor for their position.
Right.
So I don't think yes, I think that's exactly what it would be. I think the part that would be interesting about that is like Fujibayashi is clearly like comfortable doing press and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But we sometimes see in these transitions where it's like, well, now the tones of the presentations change.
Totally.
And it's not
right.
a specific person that is going, that is, when we do these things, maybe becomes a narrator, right? Like,
right. Well, that's like Doug Bowser was not Reggie Fils-Aimé.
Right. Or when Iwata passed, and like the president of Nintendo now has never shown up in a Nintendo Direct.
Right.
So it's just like, so yes, I do think Fujibayashi would become the next like head Zelda producer.
Right. But does
would
that
he
mean
have
that he gets on camera time or whatever?
Right. Yeah. Maybe it's just not his thing.
Yeah. The whole thing is just so fascinating that like what we enjoy about Nintendo is in a lot of ways like an undefinable quality that like I wonder how much of it is like driven by a dozen old Japanese men.
But I think that I think they're aware of this problem, right?
Sure.
And that I think that they try to instill a sense of like Nintendo culture,
Yes.
because they know that, like, yes, like the thing that has defined Nintendo, it will end, right? Like,
Sure.
those people will retire,
the people
or they
will,
will
yes.
pass, or whatever, and it will be up to an entirely new generation of people to fill those roles that Nintendo has never had to fill in like en masse before, right?
Yeah.
Like, and so I think that will, if I don't know, I just think it'll be an interesting transition when
Yeah.
all of that happens, and obviously it won't happen all at once,
Right.
but
Well, and I guess like in some ways, obviously we're talking about Tanabe here, and Tabata, about to retire and just have retired. But I think we can throw Charles Martinet in that same mix too, where it's like if we are to ascribe like personality of human beings to the identity of this company, he was one of them, right? And that they're like setting up for like we can't get to a point where like the voice of Mario dies and like we can't do Mario anymore.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, totally.
So yeah, I think that's they want to get themselves in a Chadwick Boseman scenario. Rest in peace. As a joke, but I don't mean to be disrespectful. But you know what I mean? That
Yeah,
like
totally.
that is something where like it's possible that that's why Star Wars fell to pieces, is because Carrie Fisher died. You could make the argument that that's why Marvel fell to pieces, is because Chadwick Boseman died. And if they're just like guarding themselves against that with these like lines of succession.
Yeah. Finally, the Pokemon Company and
sorry.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Just on the subject of retirement, we don't have it in our show notes here, but Doug Bowser is now on the board of Hasbro.
Yes, that's right.
So retired. I think being a board member of something that's different from being like a full-time employee or manager or something. But yeah.
Well, and Hasbro's the owner of like Wizards of the Coast, right?
Yeah, so it's a big company.
Which is like, I think Hasbro is pushing into gaming more
interesting.
Aggressively. So yeah, I mean, it's an interesting hire for sure.
I guess that's right. Well, and we talked on our third-party games that we'd like to see come over to Switch about how Baldur's Gate 3 was likely not going to come because there's some sort of like bad blood between.
Well,
possibly. We
don't know.
Between,
but yeah, seemingly
Wizards and
seemingly
Nintendo.
was somebody at Wizards of the Coast or Hasbro was like, no, we're not porting Baldur's Gate 3 to Nintendo platforms.
Right.
Yeah.
But now someone on the board of directors at Hasbro used to be the president of Nintendo of America.
Yeah. Interesting.
Probably doesn't mean anything, but there it is.
Finally, the Pokemon Company and Universal Studios have officially announced that Pokemon attractions are coming to Universal theme parks worldwide, starting with Universal Studios Japan.
Interesting. Do we have any other information, or just like they are now in partnership and they're going to be working on?
All we know is that it'll first happen at Universal Studios Japan, who have had like Pokemon, not any like rides or anything, but Pokemon have been featured in shows and parades there.
Yeah.
And they closed their Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man attraction like 2 years ago or something. And so the speculation is that that's where Pokemon will go. And then, eventually, I mean, it totally makes sense. They've had so much success with Super Nintendo World. It wouldn't surprise me at all. And they've said that they intend to roll these out, like worldwide. So yeah, Pokemon rides.
Yeah. I wonder if they're like what the extent, because like Super Nintendo World, yes, is a Mario Kart ride. And depending on where you are, yes, it's also like a Yoshi dark ride, and like Donkey Kong, the minecart thing. But it's also like an enclosed world space that's like just themed around the one thing. Very much like the Harry Potter world is like it's just Hogsmeade and Hogwarts. And so I wonder if like is that the aim, to like do a whole like Pokemon area?
I mean, I'm sure they'd love to sell you an electronic Pokeball that you could use to capture, Pokemon around the land.
They won't have one of those for Rosalina either. any idea when we would see the first one of these things, even in Japan.
No, they
2
haven't.
years, 3 years.
Yeah, they haven't
Long
announced.
time,
They haven't
probably.
announced dates or anything. But like I said, it's been a couple of years since they closed the ride that presumably will become whatever this first Pokemon ride is going to be. So maybe they're ready to move really fast.
Well, all right, Mark, we did it. We had a lot of news to cover, and then we covered it. Let's get out of the news. And that is going to do it for this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society. Thank you so much for listening to us as we talk so fast so we can talk about all the news. If you're not in the Discord, you should email us, Nintendo Cartridge Society at gmail.com. Anthony DeLuca made our logo. Our theme music is provided by 8BitBetty. You can get more of his music by going to 8bitbetty.com or by listening right now. For my co-host, Mark Mitchell, this is Patrick Ellers, saying thank you for listening. We didn't really talk about it, but presumably we will just talk about the Tomodachi Life Direct on the next
probably
news
on the
episode,
next news episode.
right?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense for us to preempt or do like another. No, yeah,
I don't
it'll
think
just be on the
so.
news episode.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Great.